Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Heroes Premier League Day 1. We're about to start our third game for the day, which was supposed to be ESV Tempest versus Team QQ, which is now Vex Gaming. But it's going to be Mousesports versus Team Prism. I'm excited. You're muted, bro.
I am so excited too. I'm so excited I forgot to unmute myself.
Hype, hype, hype. I mean, I think it's going to be a great game. What can you tell me about these players? I mean, how much do you know about them?
Not too much. I know Starzerg is a very strong player. I've seen him play Kerrigan, and he's very good at a Kerrigan. As for the other players, I don't know too much about them. I've seen them maybe trying to see which names I recognize. I recognize Carrion a little bit. I maybe recognize Thunder a little bit, but most of them I don't recognize. Like I said before, I'm not too familiar with the EU scene, and this is part of the reason I'm so excited about today is getting to see these guys, because I'm sure you know, they've all been great, and these have been great games, and I'm sure we got one more right here.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the European scene is actually really exciting. It's growing pretty rapidly, which is awesome to see. So, on that note, let's just hop right into the draft and see what we got going on here. So we're going to see Mousesports ban first here in just a second, and Team Prism will ban soon after. You know, we got all these great players. Like you said, Starzerg is known for Kerrigan. Potentially, that's what you said you know about him. Good. And we don't have Kerrigan on ban here. We have Tassadar for Mousesports, and we see Team Prism banning out Uther.
Uther is you know, he's an alright ban. He might not be my ban of choice, but if you really just can't stand all that stun, that chain stun, where you got, like, you know, stun, rewind, stun, divine hurricane, and you're just stunned till death, then yeah, I can see banning Uther.
Well, Mousesports goes for Stitches on their first pick. I think this is the first time we're going to see Stitches today. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But we've actually seen him banned once. And here he is. I mean, obviously, a lot of people say Stitches is potentially the best tank in the game. They recently removed Sprint from the character, but he's still super, super strong. This is the most recent patch where Sprint is no longer in the game.
Yeah, and I thought that was a good move to take Sprint away from him, and he's still very strong. He still does what he does, which is hook you from, you know, far away and bring you right to his team and gorge you and carry you to where he wants to take you, and he's very hard to deal with.
Well, we actually see Team Prism react by saying, all right, you're going to grab Stitches, we're going to grab Arthas, another amazing tank, and they grab Rhaegar with him. So getting one of, I mean, a lot of people are saying that, you know, with Uther, Uther is possibly the best support in the game right now with the nerfs on Malfurion and the nerfs on Brightwing. Rhaegar and Uther might be the two best supports. So I think Rhaegar being picked up, there's a lot of flexibility with both Bloodlust and Ancestral Healing.
Right, Ancestral Healing is a great alt. Both are viable. Both are used in different comps, in different situations, and different strategies. It'll be interesting to see which way they choose to use Rhaegar here. I
mean, we'll definitely see for sure. Once they, you know, their draft kind of pans out, we'll see exactly what they want to try to accomplish. But we see Mousesports grabbing Kerrigan on Starzerg. You guessed that one, and we have Tychus as well.
Like I said, I have seen Starzerg play Kerrigan multiple times before, actually, and I know he is very strong with that hero.
So, you know, with this composition, they not only have Stitches for the hook, but then they have Kerrigan to kind of secure that with her Primal Grasp. And, again, Tychus just unleashes an absurd amount of damage and has the utility of the knockout, or the grenade, which is a knockback and disruption.
Well, it'll be interesting if we see a Kerrigan Tychus roam here. That can be very strong. You can focus people down in seconds.
That's very, very true, especially because they can't get away. I mean, having the multiple interrupts, you have the grenade to set up the initiation if necessary, and then Kerrigan is just terrifying. You just don't get away from her. You really don't. So this is actually a really exciting, you know, lineup for them so far. But we're about to see the next pick for Team Prism, going with Sonya and Vala. Now, seeing Sonya, Vala, Arthas, Rhaegar, what do you think? Bloodlust?
I'm thinking Bloodlust. Moreover, I'm thinking safe picks right now. Those are very safe picks. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what they'll do. Bloodlust is my feeling, but it's not the only choice. They could Ancestral Heal with this.
That's very true. I mean, especially when you consider the health pools of heroes like Sonya and Arthas being relatively large, getting up in front. Sonya leaps in, you just throw Ancestral Healing on her when she gets low, and you just have this monstrosity slamming on you that will not die. So that's definitely a viable option here.
And if Arthas is taking Army of Northrend, or Legion of Northrend, and he's using that to sustain himself, and then you finally do get him low, only to have Rhaegar Ancestral heal him back up to near full. That's just extremely frustrating.
You just kind of want to take your hands off the keyboard and walk away from it because it's just like, all right, this Arthas will not die.
Right.
The final 2 picks for Mousesports will be Nazebo. Again, we're seeing Nazebo and Malfurion for their support.
Okay, I can see the Malfurion pick. I kind of see Nazebo as a bit of a strange pick here. I'm not sure how she synergizes with the rest of their picks. Kerrigan and Tychus are aggressive, a little bit more. Kerrigan obviously is a melee. Tychus is the squad isn't really set up to protect Nazebo. I mean, Stitches is designed to pull heroes from the enemy team to you, so it'll be interesting to see how they use Nazebo in this round.
It's interesting. I mean, we don't see Gargantuan very often, but it's entirely possible that we will see it taken in this situation. Good. But again, the amount of lockdown they have between... We have the hook. We're probably going to see Gorge. Even though it's possible that we will see Bile out of Stitches. Yeah. But we have the Primal Grasp with Kerrigan and Pololin, we have the Root from Malfurion, and we have Wall of the Dead out of Nazebo. So the amount of like control they have and zoning they have in this team is actually nuts. Well, it looks like Team Prism is going to grab Falstad, so I think we will absolutely see a Bloodlust build out of this. Just that much damage. Now, Falstad's not an AA hero, but no. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Do you think that this
I still think Bloodlust is the more likely choice to see out of this comp, but it could swing either way.
I mean, that's for sure, but time will tell. I mean, we're about to hop into the game. We got like 5 seconds left on this countdown. 6 seconds, technically. But on that note, let's get ready to launch up the game and see what map we're going to be playing on. It looks like we are going to be playing on... It says Blackheart's Bay here, but that's actually incorrect. So we're going to fix that, and we're going to show you that we're actually going to be playing on Cursed Hollow. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, on your count, or on my count, excuse me, we'll start the game. Are you ready to roll? At 0 seconds?
I'm ready.
Set it to normal, not faster.
Thank you for that. Let's do it.
I'm actually, I have, there has to be an option. I apologize for this. For the mouse cursor going off the map. Do you know if there's an option for that? Because I keep moving the mouse cursor to the side. When you at the end of the screen, enable mouse scroller.
Yes, there is.
We're good. We're good. Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, we have spawning here on the left side of the map. It's going to be Team Prism. Again, these guys are European players. We don't know as much about them, and we can likely butcher their names. So let's pursue. Let's proceed to butcher their names. We have Splendor, Zlaw 7R, Sarconic,
Zlostar,
Thunder, and Tangra. I'll let you butcher the team names of Mousesports.
Very well. I'll go with we got Ali on Stitches, Carrion on Malfurion, Starzerg running Kerrigan. He is moving wildly, so I can't read his name, but it is Blackmore.
And we got
and that is
Cookie.
Cookie. Like that cookie.
I love cookies as well, man. So both teams just grabbing their watchtowers, pretty standard opening. We see that we have Team Prism just kind of waiting out in their jungle, seeing what's going on, not really wanting to commit to a location, but we're seeing a lot of the same kind of play here in the bottom lane. Just people hiding out the jungles, trying to figure out what they want to do to start out the map.
And it does look like Starzerg and Blackmore will be roaming as Kerrigan Tychus tandem. We'll see.
Yeah, you called that one, that's for sure. And if Splendor steps out of position at all here, he will definitely get, walled in with Wall of the Dead. But of course, he can always vault out, and that's a nice thing about that hero.
Yes.
She has an escape.
Oh, absolutely. It's not the best escape in the game, but it's it's reliable, it's good, it's fast, and it'll get the job done.
Well, it looks like, they're just going to go straight for the Knights here. We got Thunder and Sarconic just grabbing these super early Knights.
It'll be interesting to see if they can get some damage on the walls or possibly even the fort if they put a push on mid.
Yeah, and right now Mousesports has to kind of be wondering exactly where they are because they have yet to show.
It's probably the whole reason that they themselves have not shown because they don't want to get counter ganked.
Yeah, and we see they're just trying to react, trying to posture, see if they can get a gank on them, but they realize that they've fallen back safely. And now they're just gonna have to go and defend middle lane probably because with those Knights you don't want to let that early damage get dealt to your team.
Absolutely. By now they realize that they made perhaps a small mistake in letting those Knights get caught without having spied it or realized it, but it won't be too hard to recover from if they play correctly.
Yeah, it's definitely not a game-breaking thing, but we see they're
No.
just quickly reacting and grabbing the top giants as well, and they're just going to keep roaming, grabbing mercenaries early in the game like this, and once we see a gank, I could see them easily going into the enemy jungle and getting some offensive mercs as well.
Thunder playing a little dangerously here. The hook could come at any time. He looks like he's trying to prepare for it. Maybe he's trying to bait it, but it seems very dangerous.
I think he knows he's got his minions right now to soak up the hook, and he's just trying to keep the angle between him and Stitches, trying to posture, and you see that as the minions fall, he kind of gets a little bit more safe, falls back a little bit further. But right now, yeah, he knows.
It's a dangerous game to play.
He gets into his wolf form, and he just kind of backs up safely. In the top lane, though, we might have a gank here on Carrion, and he will definitely go down here. Very, very nice play. Again,
Nice try by Carrion to keep himself up, but it just wasn't enough. He was going down for certain.
Absolutely, and in the meantime, you know, we have Mousesports grabbing the bottom giants, but that gave this perfect opportunity for a gank for this roaming squad that we're going to see probably throughout the entire game. But the tribute has spawned, and let's see if the teams react. Now, Falstad soaked up his lane, and he's flying down at this moment, and all the players on Team Prism will be posturing to take this. But honestly, Mousesports is kind of out of position right now.
Yep.
Not fearing
Mousesports may be letting them have it. No, they're moving in.
yeah, they're
See
moving
if there's
in.
an engage.
They're gonna, but nobody really wants to commit. Both teams are just playing safe, trying to figure out where each other are. They know that they're around here. Starzerg's going up in the front, and the initiation is coming here out of Team Prism, but Mousesports.
See if we get a hook here from Stitches.
Very, very nice hook, but he grabbed Barbarian. Without level 10, though, he can't leap out, and Sonya will fall. Nice hook there. And that's just the power of a hero like Stitches. You can remove someone from a fight in a position like that, and she had nowhere to go.
It forces an entire opposing team to play differently in the team fight stages of the game. You can't play the same when there's an enemy Stitches.
I like the positioning of the Vala, just trying to poke from throughout the lane here. Relatively safe for her. And, you know, Mousesports is coming in and just ripping them apart, getting the double kill. Splendor has to fall back, and this tribute will go to Mousesports.
Splendor was slightly out of position for some of that fight. He was trying to find a little niche in there to attack the enemy while still being out of the way, but it didn't work out for them.
And during that entire engagement, Mousesports Sea Giants did a ton of damage, taking out the wall and the two towers for the bottom fort. And, you know, Mousesports is just kind of positioning, soaking their XP, making sure that they're, you know, getting everything they want done. And grabbing their knights.
Sort of just falling back into a like a regrouping kind of pattern, just making sure you got all your bases covered, and then go from there and make another play.
But we might see a cheeky gank come out of here. It looks like we have Barb and Arthas both trying to make something happen, but nope, they're going to show themselves, and they're going to shift down, maybe try to come down and get Nazebo, but for the time being, I don't think we're going to see any Grave Golems anytime soon, as long as all the teammates are alive.
Not until after the first curse, I won't imagine, but here we got an engagement bottom.
Oh, I missed that one there. They got the gank on Nazebo, it looks like. You know, they really postured and got that, and my fault for
Nazebo didn't have much of a chance in that scenario.
Very, very nice clairvoyance here, just unveiling what's going on in the center of the map. They're having some presence of mind as to where the enemies could be, and they spotted both Kerrigan and Tychus with that. And we see Mousesports is already in position here. Nazebo will slowly make her way.
Prism may, they're gonna poke at it. We may see an engage. They're not gonna let this one go.
Well, we see that Mousesports is level 9. They're not gonna have level 10 for this fight. But the initiation goes on, and Prism is just taking so
and Tychus is just doing so much damage right now.
He's just obliterating. I mean, Stitches will likely fall. Stitches goes down, but Arthas falls as well, and Nazebo is in a really tough spot. But again, this Tychus is just he's healing so much.
He's doing so much damage.
So much damage. He's just so hard to take out. And I'd say that Mousesports really won that engagement. Now, if Nazebo happened to fall again, it would have been more in favor of Prism, but really, they gained control, but everyone is respawning, and this team fight is not over yet.
Oh, and as even of a full team fight engagement as you could have, yeah, like you say, Mousesports did come out a little ahead of that, and they got the tribute to show for it.
I actually expected them to try to deny that the cap on the tribute there, but they did not. They just decided, hey, we're going to play safe. We'll let them have the second tribute. It's not the third tribute. It's not the end of the world. They don't get the benefit of it quite yet. But being down 2 tributes to 1 is never a position, or 2 tributes to none rather, excuse me, is never a position you want to be in.
No, not at all. sometimes if you're down 2-2, you can even let the third one go because on the next tribute you're now 2-0, and you have a much higher chance of getting a curse before they get a curse, and then your curse is later in the game, and maybe it even turns out better for you that way.
Yeah, that's very true, but we see both teams are grabbing some mercenaries. We got the Knights for Team Prism and the Giants for Mousesports here in the bottom, but again, the third tribute of the game has spawned, and we will see a initiation to fight over it, because if Mousesports manages to secure this, while their Giants are already wreaking havoc in the bottom, oh, we have a team fight already, immediately, straight initiation, and the nice heals, the Ancestral Healing goes down on Vala, but is it enough? And interesting to see Tranquility instead of Twilight.
Tranquility is very strong, and it does a lot of disruption.
Oh my gosh, the Odin just wrecking havoc on them. They're all in a line, and it's just so much damage. It got the one kill. It could have got more potentially, but the amount of damage output was insane. And like we said, these Giants are now uncontested by these towers 100%. There's going to be extreme damage done to their bottom fort. And they're just going to.
A great example of Odin being activated and used at the correct time and just the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly right. I agree with that 100%. I mean, just really, really nice use of it. But yes, we're just going to see, you know, pressure across the map, and they're actually going for the Grave Golem from Mousesports here.
That's a good play. Sometimes people say it's a waste of the curse, but sometimes it's the only chance to get the Grave Golem is during the curse when the enemy team has to defend.
Yeah, and we saw the Giants were actually able to take out that bottom fort. The Clairvoyance goes down, so Team Prism knows exactly where Mousesports is, but I feel like the fact that the Golem just popped on the map would kind of reveal that as well. They threw that Clairvoyance right before the Golem was notified, and you know, they're just going to push with it. They're going to see how much they can get done in this top lane.
Yeah, they're going to get that fort, I believe. I don't think Prism can do anything about that.
Definitely not. It looks like Prism is trying to get together. They're just going to defend their middle lane here and know that they can't get much done out of it. They're not going to get greedy. A lot of teams in like solo queue would think that this might be a good opportunity to go, hey, let's ignore our top lane. Let's go get the bottom golem. But they said, no, that's too risky. We can't do that. Let's just play safe and defend.
If they had the initial instant reaction to as soon as they had the push on that fort to then immediately take the golem, it would have been a good play, but as soon as you have to wait more than 30-40 seconds, that play's over. You've lost it. And now you see Mousesports going in for their golem, and they try to have both of them, and
they don't even care. The Clairvoyance goes down for Team Prism. Very, very good presence of the map, just knowing exactly what's going on. They know exactly what's happening, but Mousesports doesn't care. They said, we're here, we're going to take this, and you can try to stop us, but we have so much control of the map, we have so much zoning. We're just going to keep you out. They don't even need it. We got the Heroic Leap on here.
I guess positioning himself, Odin's at the perfect time.
And very, very...
Oh, and the Zebo just completely safe with that ult.
Yeah, I mean, it just worked out so well for them. The Zebo did an absurd amount of damage. Okay, once again, the Odin just with the range, securing that kill, getting massive value. And they're just going to back up here. They said, all right, we got 4 kills. We got a Grave Golem. Let's push with it.
That particular engagement showcased the importance of positioning. The way Mousesports fell back into the little corridor between the Golem and the little rock structure and set up Nazebo and Tychus for the Odin was just perfect.
I mean, I agree, and it worked out very well for them there. One thing I want to point out was it's very interesting to see a Vala get what's it called? Rain of Vengeance instead of Strafe. Now, do you think they needed the stun? Is that why you think they chose to go with Rain of Vengeance? Because in the NA scene, at least, it's not something we see happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, that is often the reason to take it. It's because your team lacks the CC, and their team does lack the CC. They have Sonya's Leap, and
you're right.
That's about the Arceus route.
You're right. That's about it. Well, we're seeing the Giants come in the top lane, and we have the Giants pushing the bottom lane. Both teams will be collapsing here on the tribute, but again, the Knights will be pushing for Mousesports in the middle lane. So Mousesports has a little bit of an edge here in terms of push, and they definitely have the forts pushed back, and they have a 2-level lead going into this tribute.
Yep. And this tribute's going to be a big deal, I think. I think that this might decide where the game is going.
Once again, I just really want to point out the use of Clairvoyance, knowing exactly where their team is so they can initiate how they want. It's just really smart play. And everyone's just going to kind of poke around it and wait for a moment.
Yeah,
now,
I think they understand the stakes of this particular tribute engagement.
Absolutely. Well, the hook goes down on Arthas, not necessarily the target you want to get the most, forcing them to engage.
There's the hook.
But again, you know, Malfurion's heroic going off, having incredible value, keeping everyone, you know, healed up nice and happy. And as soon as Tyrael thinks he's going to die, or Tychus thinks he's going to die, he pops the Odin.
Right. And Tychus was more or less left alone throughout that Odin to do as he pleased.
Very, very
that
well.
was probably the key mistake. They needed to focus that Odin down and take him out of the fight.
And like we said, these uncontested mercenary camps are going to do crazy damage. These knights got the middle for it, and the giants are doing good damage up in the top lane as well. So, but at this point in time, they're saying nope, we can get the double knight push and go with that in the middle lane and see what we can get done. And
that's huge. A double knight middle lane push is quite powerful.
Yeah, quite powerful is almost an understatement because the amount of damage that they can rack out and the efficiency of having those extra healers there, healing up your mercs, it's actually quite nuts. You can see these towers are just melting away, and they're just disregarding the top giants and said, okay, we can lose it for it. That's not the end of the world. If we get this keep, that's worth so much more than defending that fort.
This is where having the AoE of like a Tassadar would come in really useful to help clear this. They like some AoE too. They have Arthas's his AoE ability there that I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
it's not on the top of my head, but everyone knows what it is.
I agree, and you know what? I like this play by Mousesports. They said, all right, we're going to back up. We know that the Siege Golem is going to be spawning any moment now, and we're going to grab it while we defend the Giants as well. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Clairvoyance go down here by Team Prism, but you know what? They're saying, here's a Clairvoyance, saying, all right, they're probably in the area. We're going to see if they're pathing, and
there it is.
They're trading.
They moved it just.
Yeah, they're trading.
Can they see it?
I'm
not sure if they can see the golem
they
or
could not see it. They were not aware, but they must have known. I feel like they must have known. The nice heroic leap in here by Sonya, but we see Odin go down almost immediately, and just once again this Witch Doctor positioning coming in with a Ravenous Spirit.
Witch Doctor positioning is great.
Just obliterating them. Just absolute carnage. Kerrigan is kind of cheeky. She could have backed up and been okay, but she lives anyways.
It would have taken some fancy maneuvering for Prism to really counter that. Maybe Falstad could have used his escape move to fly through the rock structure to get at Nazebo, but then that would have put him out of position as well. It would have taken some fancy maneuvering.
I mean, I just want to say, like, Mouse's positioning this whole game is really what's giving them sleep. Now they
top notch.
They have a 2-level lead, but every single time they have perfect positioning for these team fights. It's almost like they're orchestrating the entire match around it because that's what you have to do to win in this game, and it's working out brilliantly for them. And having the sustainability of a character like Tychus with Odin, and then the Malfurion with his heroic, it's working out incredibly well.
Absolutely is. Tychus has been doing great work all game. He's positioned himself well. It's the positioning of Tychus and Nazebo that have really been the focus of what's driving Mouse towards a win here if everything keeps going the way it is.
And even the strong entangling roots, just keeping people safe when they need it, and Stitches with the clutch hooks and just the body blocking, they have it all. It's working out for them incredibly well, and they're just going to go for another Grave Golem. They said, we don't need this tribute. We'll let them have a second tribute. This won't give them the curse, and we're just going to take the Golem. We're going to push and take their bottom keep, potentially.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. They just want to get that keep, which is huge experience, and if it goes well enough, they can try to push for the win, but I doubt that'll happen on this push.
Right, well, I mean, Team Prism reacted quite quickly, saying, alright, we know we have to defend here, and we're just going to Hearth back and try to defend our keep, and they should have no problem doing it, but again, Grave Golems do a lot of damage, that's for sure.
Oh yes, but they're slow. They're so slow.
Oh, they're slow, but they're beefy, and they do a lot of damage, and we're going to see an initiation anytime. Now, the hook goes out, he grabs Sonya, but will it be enough? The root is not enough. The heroic leap was huge, honestly, and Fallon just gets killed. But once again, this Ravenous Spirit behind the Odin, like, how do you contest
and Odin,
that?
Zebo and Tychus, they're just...
It's,
you got to separate them from the pack, or you got to find a way to get to them in the back line. Those are your only choices.
If I was watching a StarCraft VOD, this is where you'd see GG typed into the chat here.
Yeah,
but the teams
looks like GG.
cannot talk to each other, so we're not going to see GG in the chat. We're just going to see a death push. We got Team Prism with 30-second cooldowns on their death timers, I suppose.
Yeah, they just are going to have to watch, and as their core gets destroyed with nothing that they can do.
Well, GG to Mouse. I mean, really just taking...
Yeah, great game for Mouse.
That was some convincing play, and I feel like on the ladder we're going to see a lot of Nazebo paired with Tychus in the near future, because that was terrifying. That was just...
Tychus just hangs back with Nazebo, and, you know, they have their little party and deal out the damage.
And especially with Malfurion there. I mean, Malfurion pops her heroic, and you're not going to kill them. Like, it's... The amount of zoning they have... I mean, granted, when Nazebo was using Ravenous Spirit, you can't cast Wall of the Dead, but you still have Entangling Roots, and you still have characters to really zone for you. The amount of damage output they had, it was just in control.
Yeah, if Tychus and Nazebo were the force of damage to drive them to the win, I would say Malfurion was the glue that kept them all stuck together, you know?
I like that.
With the roots.
Glue Furion. I want to see like a super glue skin for Malfurion, because that was the strat there. But again, you really can't discredit their positioning as well. And it's not even that Team Prism played bad. They just kind of got...
necessarily.
They just kind of got picked apart in situations like that. Like, it's really hard to really force... Your main initiation in that matchup was really just Barbarian. You're relying on Barbarian to go into heroic leap, and if Nazebo is like way on her own part in a completely different part of the map, and you don't know that she's there, and you heroic leap on the other 4, it doesn't matter, because you got Stitches is not going to die quickly, Tychus is just going to pop his Odin and stay alive, and Malfurion is just going to heal for days. And meanwhile,
essentially,
go ahead,
finish.
I was just going to say, meanwhile, Ravenous Spirit is just ruining everyone's day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as long as Nazebo and Tychus don't get caught up in the leap, you're good, you know? I mean, that's the main thing. You don't want them caught in the leap, and then they can continue to dish out the damage, and the leap stun isn't that long to begin with, so
right.
You're going to come out of that, and as long as not everybody's been focused down in that short amount of time, then you can recover in that team fight.
Absolutely, and we saw that happen again and again and again. I don't think they lost a single team fight, though it came close a few times. But once again, congrats to Mousesports on winning their first match here in the Heroes Premier League. And
yes, congratulations to them and every other team that's won that we've watched today and casted today.
You know, these games have actually been really exciting. I mean,
they've been awesome.
I think I just want to give a shout out to Blizzard and the Heroes of the Storm development team, because I love the idea of this game, because when you watch League and Dota, there's that whole downtime, the laning phase. But with Heroes, the action starts so quick, and it's just super exciting.
No downtime.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, you know, at the edge of my seat, like waiting for the next thing to happen. I'm like, do they see the sweat on my forehead? I hope not, you know?
Well, on that note, we're going to have our final game of the day. We got Team Snowflake versus 2Arc Odyssey. We're going to try to bang this out before the maintenance comes in, so we'll be back after a really, really quick break. We're going to set up the match. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back.